At this point in history, All Saints' Day is a Christian holiday when all of the saints and all of the martyrs of Christianity are remembered. According to CatholicOnline.com, All Saints' Day also includes a call to Christians to live as saints. It's a reminder to live the way we're supposed to live. And then All Souls' Day comes on November 2nd. This is the day when Christians remember other Christians who passed away during the past year. Again, according to CatholicOnline.com, there is also a focus on the process of getting to heaven. Notice any exclusivity there? Did you notice that in spite of the fact that the name of these days is All Saints' Days and All Souls' Day, they are specifically Christian? Isn't that interesting? Or is it confusing? I'm curious about why Christians can't remember all saints and all souls. What is that separation about? Opportunity to mind the gap. Notice those separations. Notice the disconnect between the name and the practice. This led me to be curious about how did these traditions start? When did we decide there was a day for honoring all saints and all souls as long as all saints and all souls are Christian? So this is what I learned. All Saints' Day officially began in the year 609 when Pope Boniface IV dedicated the Pantheon in Rome to the Blessed Virgin Mary. Now, for those who aren't familiar, the Pantheon is a Greek structure located in Rome, which was built to honor all gods. Thus the name of the building, Pan, which means many, Theon, which means God, or Theo. So here comes Pope Boniface IV, a Christian Catholic or a Catholic Christian, separating that building from its original culture and its original intentions and dedicating it to something else. That's the genesis of All Saints' Day. Now, I'm not exactly sure what you want to do with this information or what we want to do, but this is what I would suggest. That we take the time to engage in some authentic conversations. So, All Souls' Day. That was All Saints' Day. Now we're going to move on to All Souls' Day, and it has a different history. In the year 933, in a monastery in France, this practice began. So, rather than remembering all saints and all martyrs on All Souls' Day, the focus is on remembering deceased Christians, along with the practice of how do you get into heaven. So, where does Halloween fit in? All Hallows Eve. What is that about? Halloween was originally Samhain or Samhain. It was a Celtic holiday, and it marked the end of the harvest and the ushering in of the darkest time of the year. And the Celtic folk believed that the darkest time of the year was something special. It was the thin place, when that veil which separated earth from heaven, the veil that separates the physical from the spiritual is thin, 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 thin. When we enter into thin places, what happens? Sacred interactions between the living and the dead. filled with echoes from today's ancient reading, right? God will destroy on this mountain all shrouds that shroud people and veils that veil the nations. To me, this is God minding the gap, actually destroying the gap, doing away with the separations in between. So I tried to figure out, when did the Samhain festivals or holidays first begin? And all I could find was 2,500 years ago, which would be roughly, 500 BCE, so before the Common Era. The original Samhain traditions and rituals included lighting bonfires, offering sacrifices or gifts from the harvest, wearing animal skins as disguises to drive away unwelcome visitors, and there were feasts and banquets. Another reminder of the ancient reading. What were the commander of the legions doing? Preparing a feast for all people. So anyway, let's fast forward 1,000 years. So now we're in the year 500 of the Common Era. This is when mumming became a thing. Mumming was when people would dress as ghosts and demons and perform antics or tricks in exchange for food. Fast forward a little bit more, we move into the Middle Ages, so roughly the years 800s and 900s, maybe on up to the thousands. By this time, Christianity had spread to the Celtic lands. This was the era when All Souls Day became a thing. Shortly before that, the Pantheon had been hijacked. Oh, I didn't say that. Anyway, the earliest Christian All Souls celebrations honoring deceased Christians included the Samhain traditions of bonfires and costumes. It was during this era when mumming became a souling. You know that term, a souling? You may not know the term, but I'll bet you know the song. Hey ho, nobody home. Meat nor drink nor money have we had. Yet shall we be merry. That's a souling.